Well, I had mentioned that I was getting a couple of holsters, and they came in, so I'll show them to you before I put the neat's foot oil on them. Okay, this is the regular one for a TT, and this one actually came out of, this is out of the Ukraine. Now this is that transitional holster that can work for a Nagant or a Tokarev. Kind of an interesting design. You can see it's a little bit bigger, but they're both made by the same company in Germany. It was part of the war reparations deal. This was 1953, this is 1949. But it was their transition deal. Because this one, like I say, it'll fit the Nagant or the Tokarev. So, it's an interesting design. And then when it fits the Nagant, you keep your ammunition in here. You know, the Nagant ammunition comes in these little paper packets, or even loose ammunition can fit in here. But then the magazine for the Tokarev will fit this way in there. You know, so it's kind of a good all-purpose design. Like I say, both of them out of Germany, though roundabout way. And one of them came with the lanyard even, so if I want I can tie my Nagant down, but we talked about that before, you want to be able to fling them. But good holster, nice to get the originals. You know, I got them off of eBay. One of them, I think this one was 40 and maybe this one was 30. About 10 bucks to ship each one. But you know, nice to have, and excellent condition. Most of these were made and never issued, just sat in warehouses. So I'm in good shape with them. But, you know, it always causes consternation in the post office when these international packages come in. Because a lot of these I have to sign for them. So they got to line up to meet me there. I usually watch and try to catch them, you know, as they're coming in, which I was able to do on this. But like I say, it usually causes a certain amount of consternation. Though I do quite a little in and out international stuff, but I usually don't mail international stuff from the local post office because, like I say, it just confuses them. And even, you know, when I say international, okay, this always aggravates me. To send something, you know, like this was $10 from Russia or from the Ukraine. But from here to Canada, which is really, really close, it's always 2 or 3 times what you would expect it to be. I don't know what it is with the Canadian postal system, but they're just outrageously high priced, always are. You know, I don't know why that is. You know, I watched a video one time where somebody had ordered some shoes. There was some chick up in Canada whose channel I watch. And they were some crazy, you know, but when they come in, then she goes to the post office to pick them up, and then there's all these extra fees and taxes kind of that she has to pay to get them out of the post office, and I had never heard of this before. You know, it's some customs deal or something, but it's a strange way of doing it, but it's kind of hard to do business in Canada that way. You know, I have trouble, like with the rugs, you know, it's going to cost way too much to ship to Canada, so I kind of discourage people from Canada from trying to buy them, you know, but that's just unfortunate. But evidently Russia's no problem, though when I opened this box today, the postmaster said, you know, the one from the Ukraine, maybe you should check it for bullet holes, he said, but well, then also somebody made a comment, you're going to end up on some watch list. Well, I tell you, I'm probably on a watch list anyway. which is probably a good thing. You know, I think, you know, it's really easy if you understand how to get on these no-fly lists and watch lists and all this stuff. It's really incredibly easy. You don't have to do anything. You just have to even be associated with somebody who maybe got on. You know, I think really to get on one of them is kind of, I think everybody should be, or you're doing something wrong. So it wouldn't surprise me, though, every time when I buy a new gun, you know, when they do my background check, it always flies right through. So, you know, but I always do get the feeling, I slipped one by him again every time that happens. But, you know, I know one time I had mailed some stuff. It was some computer hardware data encryption stuff that I sent to Israel. And I thought, well, this could be a problem. And the shipping was fairly high to Israel, too. But it just took a little while. Well, even this one from Moscow, or from the Ukraine, sat in New Jersey for a long time. You know, I was watching it as it goes. It sat there for quite some time. I don't know what they were doing with it in New Jersey, but it sat there. But it's here now. Now I can put oil on them. No, I don't know if I should digress into this even, but you know, it always pisses me off, like this whole stuff with the Ukraine now. We make it sound like this is a humanitarian deal, or, you know, and it isn't. It's a stupid oil deal again. The area that's under dispute here is sitting on a bunch of shale. There's two companies, one English and one from the U.S., that want to get in and do fracking. Well, if it's under Russian control, they wouldn't be allowed in. So they're working, trying to get in there to do their fracking, dealing with the biggest gas company in the Ukraine. And one of the board members happened to be Joe Biden's kid. You know, claims there's no conflict of interest there, but to me it's a little shady. And he happens to be head of the legal department, and he's in charge of the lobbying in Congress. You know, this whole lobbying crap, that's the same with in Israel. That lobbying, you know, like when Israel finally backed off a little bit there and quit tormenting the hell out of Gaza, you know, it was no humanitarian thing that made them stop. It was that the Congress said, you know, you got to quit this or we're not going to, you know, they were threatening to cut some of our aid. Well, really what they were threatening to cut was, we pay for that whole Iron Dome thing. For some reason, that's on our hook. And they were running out of missiles. So in order to rebuild this whole thing, we ended up borrowing money, which really ends up being borrowed from the Chinese, to give them $25 million to rebuild their, you know, arsenal that they depleted, blowing the hell out of Palestinians. It's a crazy thing. You know, the whole political situation is a crazy thing, but there's always more behind it than what appears on the news. I got a kick out. I was talking to a woman from Pakistan, a real nice young girl that was in this country, and she was trying to figure out, and she has friends in Gaza, which, you know, she couldn't figure out why in the world we're, you know, doing that. But at the same time, I didn't have the heart to tell her that our Secretary of Defense was just over in India. Now, India and Pakistan have got this bickering that's been going on for a long time and has been on the verge of going nuclear a few times. But we have been selling them crap. We've been giving them a lot of military stuff. We're the biggest military arms dealer in the world, and our biggest customer is India. Well, the last little deal here they were making was on a whole bunch of Apache attack helicopters. And a whole bunch of other helicopters too, but there was like 38 Apaches now and then a whole bunch more to come later. And our theory is that this is to keep China in line. Well, there's bad blood between China and Pakistan, or China and India, but nothing that serious. But India will use them on Pakistan. That's what'll happen. But, so we give them a bunch of crap again. You know, and that stuff always comes back to bite us in the ass, like now over the Islamic State are running around with all the crap that we left in Iraq. So now we have to arm the Kurds. Yeah. Which, you know, I used to actually deal computers to a guy that was a Kurd. You know, he was from Iraq, so he didn't want to be. Kurds didn't want to be in Iraq, and they aren't going to be in Iraq. And now you give them guns, and they certainly aren't going to be. You know, we want to make a unified Iraq, you know, so we got one puppet that we can control. You aren't going to control the Kurds. But, you know, they're nice people. And, you know, the whole problem there started when after World War II, they split up the Middle East in random, not paying any attention to borders, you know, traditional borders, just saying, okay, this is this and this is that. And so the Kurds they're in like 4 countries. You know, but they've always wanted to be a country on their own. And if they pull Iraq's ass out of the fire now, I think they're going to have their own country. But silly things, you know, I probably shouldn't talk about it again. It always pisses people off because people don't know. People don't look beyond what they see in the headlines. They don't look to see what's actually going on. And then they get pissed off. But I figured, somebody reminded me the other day, I got over 3,000 subscribers. I could lose 2,000, wouldn't affect me a bit. So I can pretty much say what I want. But, man, don't believe the crap. There's always, you know, if they're waving something, you know, if you see them doing a lot of the, you know, look at here. Look what the other hand is doing. The other hand is up to mischief. You notice they keep Biden tucked away now because they know there's a bad conflict there. So Biden, he's keeping a low profile. That's what made me look to see why has he disappeared. That's why.